have a round of applause for our business administrator. We do appreciate, Mr. BA, we appreciate your leadership, and I'm glad you decided to come back home to Paterson. Thank you. On May 8th, the people of Paterson gave me a gift. And for the past 100 days, I've been trying to thank them. And people ask me all the time, what is your proudest accomplishment within that time frame, within the first 100 days? And I'll say that we put together quite a team for the city of Paterson as far as the strength and dedication is concerned. A group that we've assembled, competent, professional individuals who are focused on growing the city of Paterson, on focused on elevating the city of Paterson, on focused on bringing it back to where Paterson belongs. And a primary goal of assembling a team of all-stars is to give the people of Paterson what they deserve: good government. Good government. And Mr. BA, you took the lead. And even though at first it may not have been popular, for the taxpayers of Paterson, it was the right thing to do, to switch healthcare plans so that we could save, estimated, $200 million for the city of Paterson over the course of 7 years. That's good government. During the campaign, I promised that we would collaborate with other entities, that I would leverage relationships that I have. And so we meet monthly with our counterparts in the county to find areas where we can collaborate on. For example, Mike Power, Economic Development Director, they already secured grant funding so that we can take Paterson into the 21st century as far as dark fiber is concerned and making Paterson more appealing to potential investors. We're also talking about ways we could save money on energy if we partner up with Passaic County. The school board is another area of opportunity as far as collaboration is concerned. We're meeting quarterly with the superintendent. Tonight she'll be at the council meeting outlining the vision for the transition plan that the school board is about to embark upon. And so that's a relationship we plan to benefit from for Paterson as well. And I see Inga Spungen, who's a co-chairperson of the Complete Count Committee that we created. We gotta get that census number accurate. There's so much at stake. I've said it ad nauseum. If we get that 150,000 plus, or we get that accurate number, it means more federal funding for our city. And it's critical. So that's why we've gotten out of the gate really early, almost 2 years in advance, and created a committee that's comprised of stakeholders that have access to critical masses of people. And I was honored a few months ago to be selected by Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative to participate with 39 other mayors around the world in a program that will ultimately benefit our city. And so that we become more data-driven, because as our Economic Development Director says, if you measure it, it gets done. So this city is planning on becoming more data-driven and tracking what we're doing. As far as economic development is concerned, we presented our plan, the transition plan, 90-plus pages, and I commend the transition team for volunteering your time and talent, putting in that sweat equity, and making sure that the city has a blueprint for success. The economic development plan that we have is to leverage the $130 million in tax credits that the state is giving our city. We've identified 3 areas that will be catalytic. The Great Falls, where there's plenty of potential and we want to turn it into a top-notch tourist destination. And as you know, this Friday we cut the ribbon on the amphitheater, which will attract people, and if we're going to experience a renaissance, it's going to be because we're embracing the arts. An Overlook has undergone a facelift as well. 400,000 people, according to the National Park Service, visited the Great Falls last year. We got to get that number to 1 million, but we got to give them something to do. Dining, shopping, entertainment options at our crown jewel, the centerpiece of our economic revitalization area. The hospital zone is also an area where we feel is going to be a catalyst. And downtown, with housing, transit housing, attracting young professionals to our city. And the Ward Street Garage is one of the first projects we'll be announcing as far as what we plan to do with generating vibrancy in our downtown area. The Armory. We were pleased, Mr. BA, that we were able to sell the Armory at 5 times the appraised value with the assistance of the City Council. Thank you, Councilwoman Cotton. Thank you, Councilman Velez. $3 million for the Armory, which has been an eyesore and somewhat of a crime magnet in the past. It is going to be developed. It'll be a mixed-use project, and it'll beautify that neighborhood and also get back on the tax rolls, which is the most important aspect right now. We're meeting with investors. There's legitimate interest. We're trying to improve the city's image so that other people will want to come here and develop appropriately. And as far as Leader Die is concerned, we put the wheels in motion, and we're going to clean up the contamination so that ultimately we can auction off Leader Die, and that too, like the Armory, will be developed and it'll benefit the individuals that live in the neighborhood and, again, grow our rateable base. We've raised money to fix 8 fields in the city. That work has been completed. Through the Urban Enterprise Zone penny, we created a clean team, giving Patersonians, 20 Patersonians, job opportunities and making sure that our commercial corridors are cleaner as a result to make Paterson more inviting. We reactivated the Environmental Commission. We've seen somewhat of a lag, Bob, in recycling in our city, and that's a source of revenue, and it's a way to save money. So we not only brought it back, but we swore in the commissioners, and they've already met and outlined their vision as far as how to save the city money and make us more sustainable in Paterson. Then we engaged volunteers at a meeting here at City Hall with Eddie Cotton and launched a program known as Paterson is Picking Up, and creating a green team so that this litter abatement / beautification program will also enhance the appeal of the city of Paterson. And tonight on the agenda, the Grassroots Arts Commission. We talked about the amphitheater, we talked about a renaissance. There are 18 individuals that we appointed, 3 of them high school students from Paterson, to serve on this arts commission so that ultimately we can embrace the arts and benefit as a result of it. And one thing I'm most proud of is that my wife wants to get involved. At no cost to the taxpayers, of course. She's lending her time and talent. She's volunteering and heading up an initiative to increase our literacy rate, our attendance rates, and our graduation rates in our schools. Thank you, Rosie Grant, Paterson Education Fund. We are proud of Paterson Reads, and we're going to focus on parental engagement to ensure student success in our public schools. Now, speaking of public safety, Director Spezial, Chief Oswald, July 1st, the same day I started, we introduced new officers. And they literally hit the ground running, because now in Paterson, for the first time in a long time, we have foot patrols in our business areas, or areas where we've identified for economic development, whether it be in South Paterson, downtown, or by the falls. That's something that we're proud of, because we're seeing more of that police presence. The summer was relatively quiet. However, there was an uptick, and we put together a plan. I asked our leadership team in the police department to put together a plan, Operation Safe Streets, and they executed it, and we have seen a decline in crime. In fact, I think that weekend, Director, there wasn't a single robbery or incident because of that police attention that the areas received. And finally, with the public safety component of our 100-day plan, we launched LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs. We have 2 trained police officers who are going to go into schools, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 6th grades. They have a curriculum to teach life skills and to teach about the dangers of drugs. We know we have an opioid epidemic, horrible, and we want to address it earlier. We feel like intervention and prevention will help us in this quest, if that's our concern. Unfortunately, on September 11, 2001, we lost a Patersonian, Kenny Lira. We felt that it was only appropriate that we dedicated the train station in his memory, considering that was the last time he was in Paterson before his unlikely and untimely demise. We're also focused on veterans. Hayden Heights is our Veterans Park. And unfortunately, handicapped, disabled veterans couldn't attend Veterans Day events, Memorial Day events. We secured funding through open space in the county, and now, hopefully, Chief McDermott, any disabled veteran or disabled visitor can participate in our Veterans Day ceremony coming up in just a month. I mentioned the amphitheater and Overlook. Although it's not a part of our first 100 days, I want to tell you that within the next month, we will be announcing the Great Lawn Project movement, which will ultimately create a river walk at the falls and enhance its appeal as a top-notch tourist destination. Just yesterday, and I'm still recovering, we hosted our first food truck festival in the city of Paterson, because we're going to play to our strengths in this city. If there's one thing we want to emphasize in the first 100 days, is that Paterson is the next frontier. A lot of these cities have happened, Camden, Newark, Jersey City, because they received support from Trent, namely the governor. And today, there's an opinion editorial that I wrote, was published in the Record and Herald News, and it's online, northjersey.com, that states the economic development plan that the governor unveiled last week has the potential to help us. And that's a relationship I am looking to leverage. So great falls, great food, great future. And the BA was outlining there's another 100 days, and there's 265 days, and 365 days. Who's counting? In Paterson, we are not going to count the days. We're going to make the days count. So, Team Paterson, thank you for what I believe has been a successful 100 days. We still got some time to go. We're willing to do the work. We emphasize the fact that Paterson perhaps has been forgotten in the past, but we're going to remind people how great we are. And that is a message that should reverberate not only through the state, but the county as well. Happy 100. Thank you very much.